Hi everybody, long time no see. It is a beautiful spring day here in Central Texas. And if you haven't been on my channel before, this is going to be a totally different video than what I normally do. I actually haven't really posted since Christmas. So I'm just back to say hi. But also I wanted to show you guys a few spring things. So in case you need just a little bit of spring motivation or just something pretty to look at for a little while, I'm going to go through my garden and we will be doing a Zone 9 garden tour. Alright, if you guys have been with us since the beginning when we were first building our tiny home, you're going to notice a lot of different things. First of all, we decided to put in this beautiful garden this spring. Last year I had actually planted things out that way in this big open space, and I think I had shown some of you guys. I was in the middle of a health episode, I guess. I'm not sure how to say that. So that garden really failed. And being the first year here, when we put things in the ground, we had a lot to contend with. And it just didn't really work out. So this year I was like, let's do some raised beds. I had some smaller raised beds in my previous location and did really, really well. So I knew that this would be easier and simpler. So my husband built all of these long beds. They're not very wide, but they're pretty long. And that's really nice because then I can reach over all of the sides, and they are about 2 feet tall. And that's very helpful. So I can basically take one of my chairs here and sit here. So let's see what's in the beds first. And this is the second week everything is in the beds. So in this first bed, this gets the most sunlight. I wanted to put things that really needed a lot of sunlight. So this is corn and sunflowers. So this is a honey and cream variety from Botanical Interests. I buy this at my local garden center, and I know that it sells in several places that particular brand of seeds, and they are non-GMO, so that's great. I know I just recently found out that they started selling GMO seeds, so you gotta have to make sure that you're getting non-GMO if that's something that makes a difference for you. And this is a row of sunflowers. I believe these are sunspot sunflowers, but they're doing really, really great. These have been in the ground, started from seed, all of it. I do think corn and sunflowers do better if you direct sow them. So they just need a lot of sunlight, pop them right in, and they're good to go. I also have a few little pots that I have set into the ground. Right here is week 2, and it looks like we have some zinnias popping up, and it looks like I have a little bit of maybe some pest damage here on this one. Yeah, something come and ate the whole little plant right off at the base. That's too bad. But yes, those are zinnias, and I actually have planted around them a couple of nasturtium. And I believe that is the butterscotch variety of the nasturtium, again, at the Botanical Interests. So over here I have some transplants. So these 4 right here, these are my Hansel eggplants. So they are long and thin eggplants. They do really, really well. And so I actually have them planted in this little block pattern at the end of this bed because this should be the perfect amount of space for them. So they're about 1 foot apart. Over here, I have my sweet bell peppers, these 5 plants, and they are looking gorgeous. Again, these are transplants in this bed. Well, most of them are, I should say. So peppers like to hold hands. So I plant them pretty close together so that way they get to touch each other, and they are perfect in this amount of space. So you can see this is the same space. So I have 4 here, and then I actually have 5 here with the one in the middle. This is a gypsy pepper, and it is again a transplant, but they are doing great here week 2 in the soil. These are like a banana pepper, but they have a little more bite to them. So I really, really enjoy this variety. And then over here, I have my asparagus beans. And then I grew a few more right here. So eventually, in this area from this bed to this bed, this is a pretty good size walkway. This is about 4 or 5 feet, but I'm going to have an arched trellis that goes across. So that should do really, really well here. And I'm sorry I have my hose strung out. I just kind of left it there from yesterday, to be honest. But anyway, so yeah, those asparagus beans are going to come all the way across, and they're going to look so beautiful coming down. Here in this back spot here, I actually have saved some room in my beds for pretty things, and you can see some sprouts of what is purple coneflower. So I'm super excited. And then anywhere that I kind of felt like might need a little spot of color, I threw in some random pretty seeds. So those are actually a couple of sunflowers. You can see that I actually have a few there at the end of the bed as well. Okay, let's move to this bed over here. So this is the second bed over on this side, and I have this onion, and this is a spring mix. It came, actually my mom gave it to me, so thank you, Mom. She had leftovers, so this is what this is. And so it's a mix of like a variety of onions, and they were super colorful and beautiful. And so I thought, well, let's put them all over here and see how they do. And they are doing amazing. These again have been in this bed for 2 weeks. Over here are my tomato plants, and this year I did Romas. So in years past, I have really gone overboard on tomatoes. I don't actually eat raw tomatoes. I just love the way tomato plants look, and so I always want them in my garden. My husband eats them, and I love salsa and sauce and cooking with tomatoes. I just don't eat them raw. And so I wanted to grow something that I really knew would do well, but only get one variety, and maybe throw in another variety just for fun in a different bed. So probably once these are kind of dying out and I go into the fall, I'll do something else when it gets a little less hot. But tomatoes in zone 9 do well, but you have to start them early, and you don't want them to go through that really, really hot 90-degree day, or really in our area about 107-degree day. We had on record, I think it was like 87 or 90 days last year of over 100 temperature in a row. And so we did not get a break. So these poor tomatoes, they really take a beating. Right in the middle, that is a Genovese basil. I love it. I've been making basil tea and already starting to harvest a little bit off of that. On this side, I also have some basils, but I have a cinnamon basil in the back. That is a cinnamon basil, and it smells amazing. And it's really a compliment to a lot of different things. Right here is a little transplant of some African blue basil. I'm actually growing another plant in another side, but I harvested that and I put it in the water and propagated it. And I planted that, and then also another little Thai basil right here. The Thai basil is amazing. It's great in all of that Asian and Indian food. It's so good. These are a pepper variety called Garden Salsa. These also were transplants, and I just love them. They're like just a tiniest bit spicier than a jalapeno. And I'm sorry if the wind is loud right now. If it gets really bad, I'll cut it and I'll do a voiceover for this part. But they're just a little bit hotter than a jalapeno, but they don't have that like metallic taste of a jalapeno. And I know like a lot of people love the jalapenos, so I'm not mad about them. I eat them all the time. It's not a big deal. And I love them pickled, but personally, I think this is a tastier variety. And then my husband loves the hot peppers, so I'm growing him a Carolina Reaper over here. We'll see how that does. And then this is, let me see what the tag says, because this was, again, something my husband chose. That's what it is. I ain't even gonna try to say it. But we bought this from the garden center, and it's actually like doing really great. It's a super beautiful plant. I love the color of the leaves. You can see that it's like quite a bit brighter, and it's super pretty. Okay, let's go around to the other side here. So this is kind of my little walkway space, but I've kind of filled it up. Also, if you want to know where I got all these matching pots, these good size large pots, I mean, like, okay, so I'm gonna set my red Solo cup so you can kind of see the size. There you go. So it's a good size pot. These were $5 at Dollar Tree if you have that Dollar Tree Plus section in yours. And they came in several colors. I picked this really, really light neutral color. And what I like about them is they have the basin at the bottom. So it really holds onto the water well, and you don't have to be overly watering. In this one, this is zucchini. I just have a couple little zucchini plants. And then in this one is yellow squash. And I planted 4 in each, and I'm going down to 2. And really that's kind of maxing it out. So we'll just see how that goes. But yeah, you can see that I have a few to thin out there. In this pot, this is orange mint, okay? And it smells amazing. This is by far my favorite mint of all time so far. I really, really love it. It has an amazing flavor, and the color is so beautiful. And as the leaves kind of age, they become this like orangey yellow leaf. So it's super, super pretty, and very, very prolific, and it's doing really well in this pot. I've actually shaved like about half of this off already. This is just a little petunia I threw in here. This is Agastache. I'm not sure the variety. Let me see if I have a tag. Okay, so that's the tag. And anise, whatever. Okay, but it smells really, really good, and it's beautiful. It's great for tea. And back here, I have this African blue basil, and this one I went ahead and let it start to go to flower just so I could have something beautiful in here. It is super, super delicious and also super beautiful and great for the pollinators. The little honeybees absolutely love this plant. Over here, let's see what's in this pot. Okay, I have some more of those onions. These are actually Texas red onions, and I got them from Starts, and these are as well. This pot started about a week after this one, just because I actually set it down and lost it. These are my Clemson spineless okra, but you can see we're getting some major pest damage on them. So what I'm noticing is that the other okra that is right above here, this is the red burgundy, it is not getting as much pest pressure as this particular version. Now, I've grown this spineless version many times, and it does super well in our area, but it seems to have to be the sacrificial plant so I can get a harvest out of this, unfortunately. And I don't know if it's just because it's lower, but I have it planted in a couple of other spots, and it's also just not doing super, super well, unfortunately. But that's okay, as long as I can still get these guys to grow. So I might even plant some more and just call it a day. Okra does really, really well here. So here in this area, I have a chocolate bell pepper. That was something fun that I wanted to try this year. And this is actually another thing that I'm trying out. This is a barbecue rosemary. It grows upright, and it comes on woody stems, and so it's great to make a skewer out of it. That's what I saw on the tag, and I thought, well, that's fun. I'm going to try that. So these are my radish. This is a botanical interest seed, and it is the Easter mix. And honestly, it got me because of how beautiful and colorful. The thing about getting the mixes, when you buy like a salad mix or this Easter blend or Asian mixes sometimes of different plants, is that you don't know what variety is what unless you're really, really familiar. And I wouldn't say that I'm like overly familiar. So, you know, we'll see. But I'm totally happy with it. They're doing great. I have some more radish to plant afterwards. I like to do them in succession. So next week I'll be planting in between the rows. There's plenty of space here, so I'm excited about that. Now, this is a accidental onion plant that because when I was first doing these beds, I thought, oh, I'm gonna put onions here. I planted it, and then about 30 minutes later, I decided, oh no, I'm gonna do my radish here, and then I forgot to pull up the onion. So, so I'm just letting that guy stay there. He's doing his thing. Over here, this is the last bed on this side. I have my cucumbers, and I have forgotten the variety. It is a slicer. I think it's a silver slicer, but I'm not 100% sure. In between, I have planted a row of little nasturtiums. Nasturtiums are great, and I'll show you some seedlings. These guys haven't popped yet because I just put them in. But I will show you what they look like as seedlings, and they are amazing. Super, super cool little plants. These, again, are some more cucumbers. These are behind these guys. And then right here I have my actual zucchini bed. It looks like I need to pop that seedling out, cut that seedling. And then this is the yellow squash. So this bed will be so full and lush, and that's why I wanted it up closer to my window so I can see it. And then you'll notice that I put some pots with some beautiful landscape roses. This is a variety called Gold Medal. And you can see this is what it looks like when it's freshly bloomed. This is a couple of days old, but it gives you that gorgeous, I don't know if you can see it. Let me kind of angle here. This is that gorgeous, like, true rose shape. What I would call a true rose shape. And it has this beautiful, really, really dark leafy foliage. So this is a new plant, and it's doing really well. It's been in this pot for just a little while, but it did not take a hit, and as it ages, or the bloom ages, I should say, it becomes this very pale, almost white, like creamy yellow. In this pot over here, and this is where my nasturtium is, so I'm going to take you up to it. I actually have planted around the base of all of my roses because they are pretty, a couple of these guys are really tall. So I want to make sure that they, you know, there's something to look at all the way from top to bottom. So this is a Julia Child rose. It has already bloomed, so we'll be waiting on it. But this is actually my favorite. It is like butter yellow, super, super gorgeous. But here is what I was talking about. These are my little nasturtium plants. So these get really pretty and bushy, and they will have little yellow, almost like, to me, they kind of are like a petunia shape a little bit. Floral or flowers on there, and they are going to be, again, that butterscotch variety. So they're like a butter yellow, kind of pale orange mixed. This is a True Friendship rose, and I actually love the shape of this. The leaves, the pattern of the leaves is like so different from the rest of them, but it's super, super gorgeous. I don't know, to be honest, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not like a rose aficionado by any means. I did know that I wanted some beautiful roses to really just accent in the garden, and I tried to look for varieties that would do well in the pots and were the right shape and size. Now, I did wind up accidentally getting something that I didn't want, which was the Gold Medal. See how, like, I didn't really want like cut flowers. I wanted a bush, but that's okay. We love it anyways. It's gorgeous. We're going to continue on. So this, though, is probably my favorite plant because this is going to give me that full bushy look. And I really, really like the color of this. This is like a lemon yellow, whereas everything else has like a warmer quality. This is very lemony and springy and bright. So it's beautiful. But, I mean, the Julia Child's rose is absolutely gorgeous. I wish it was blooming so I could show you. Over here, this is called, oh my goodness, it has escaped me. Oh my goodness, what is this rose called? I'm going to pop it up on the screen because I'm sure I'll remember it later. But this rose is absolutely beautiful, and it was so full of blooms for Easter. I was really proud of it, and we're just a few days past Easter, but everything was like perfect. So that is one thing about this rose that I noticed is that, oh, this is a shockwave. I just finally remembered it. Shockwave rose. This rose, though, is like perfectly yellow all the way through. It doesn't even hardly lose its color as it ages. It's just beautiful. And right here I have a plant that I pulled from the garden center. It's a steppable, it was called, like the type of plant it was a steppable. So it's like a ground cover that can take a little beating. But I loved the way it trailed out, and it looks really pretty. Like if you kind of look at it from a distance, you get a really full look. And also I have some nasturtiums growing in there as well. The nasturtiums are really cool because they grow and they look almost like a water lily. And you can eat the leaves and the flowers, and it has like a spicy kind of horseradishy taste. So super interesting, great for a salad or on a sandwich, a little pep and zing. And these are some more asparagus beans. Back here are some beans that I actually don't know what they are. They were given to me, and I'm calling them the 7 beans because the pod, when I got the little bean pod, it was shaped like a 7. So I'm calling it 7 beans. I don't really know what it is. These are some garlic chives that are doing really, really well. And they're super tasty. I didn't actually plant garlic this year. I'm running out of space, so so I thought, well, I'm gonna put a pot of garlic chives, we'll call it a day. These are some leftover Hansels, so I needed to find a space for them, and I put them on the end of this bed. Here we have a couple of those sunspots. Right here we have purple coneflower, so that's what those little sprouts are. A couple little sprouts coming up. There should be more. This is a leftover gypsy pepper also, and this is also some leftover tomatoes. So these were kind of the stragglers that didn't do super well when I got the tray. So it was like a 6-pack tray of the Romas, and I went ahead and grabbed it because it looked like it had 4 really great ones, and I thought, okay, well, I'll just put these 2 over here and see how they do. But they have done really, really well, so I'm happy about them. This is some more Agastache. This is blue sunrise, sunset. Let me double check. Yes, Agastache Sunrise Blue. Super beautiful. Look at how gorgeous those purpley blue blooms are. I'm so proud of that plant. They were tiny, tiny babies, but they're doing great. And then over here I have peppermint and spearmint. And I know, don't get mad at me because I planted it in with the rest of this stuff. It's really not going to take off this year, but next year, if this becomes a mint bed, I'm really not mad. I love mint, so I'm not bothered by it at all. And this here is stevia. And I have 3 little stevia plants, and they're doing really, really well. But I'm super happy. This is the garden, and it's doing super great. Again, Zone 9, Central Texas. If you need a little spring pick-me-up, here you go. I hope you're having a great day, and I will talk at you soon. Bye, guys.